Good morning, afternoon, and evening, gentlemen. Hammerhand, the MGTOW monk, back at you one more again. Yo, man, how y'all doing out there? I hope you're doing fine. Wonderful, fine. Our weather out here can't make up its mind what it's going to do. It doesn't know if it wants to be rain or sweltering. Sort of like YouTube. That's true. I'm off YouTube again. I think I'm off for good this time. Maybe it's just a browser, a looky-loo, a lurker. I think, brothers, at some point in time, you have to know when to say when. When it comes to YouTube and censorship, that they're off the fucking charts. They're not going to let you say what you need to say, what you want to say. They don't care about that shit. They care about their monetization. They care about corporate entities. They care about towing the line when it comes to their politics. I'm all good with that. I do the same thing, right? We do things a little bit differently, but I mean, all in all, it's pretty much the same thing. I really don't know what to say. I always felt like I would be disappointed, when the time came. I'm not disappointed. Not at all. Not at all. So that's the second one gone. There won't be a third one. You see, over here on MGTOW TV, on BitChute, on Brighteon, excuse me, hell, even on Zoom. Now Google has a new thing where you can do Google conferences. They're trying to pick up some of that Zoom crowd, right? Maybe that's something to look into. Telegram. There's 100 different alt platforms. BitTube, DLive, Streamlabs. There's 100 different platforms out there. You know what I'm saying? Gab. A lot of them out there don't do this to you. You can speak your mind. You can say what you need to say. Make no mistake about it. You get popular enough, they'll come after you. Oh, excuse me. They'll do what they got to do. Oh, man. Old tanker. Yeah. Oh, man. Gents, I wish I had something decent to say, and I wasn't just sitting here floundering around trying to think of something clever. I think it's just time. It's time. I've had a bit of a change of thought here in the last few months, especially since my channel started coming under siege. Then it was terminated, built it back up, terminated again, had 1,000 subs inside of 2 weeks. That ain't so bad, That ain't so bad. They did it to Chronic again. They're targeting Terrence Pop. It'll only be a matter of time. That sucks. That's the sucky part, is that that your head's on the fucking block, man. It'll only be a matter of time. So have you gotten out there today and done what you were supposed to do? I'm about 2 seconds from turning this camera off. I'm frustrated. I think instead of trying to deliver some prefab message, I think I'm just going to say what I need to say. It frustrates the hell out of me that there are so many people out here in the world that are pushing against what's obvious and right and true. It frustrates me to no end, not because of those people, but because men simply can't see the forest for the trees. I was that guy at one point in time. Every guy that I know was that guy at one point in time. That's so frustrating. You want to just grab them and fucking shake them and be like, can't you see this? Don't you understand? Do you not see? You're not dealing with one linear line. You're dealing with multiple planes of existence, multiple planes of lying, of truth telling. It's some whack shit. It's really fucked up how sinister our existence is once you become aware of it. That's fucked up. You ever seen the reaction of a gorilla, a zoo animal of any kind that becomes aware that it's caged? They get shitty real fast. When they thought that they were living in an environment, they didn't know any better. But then they get really shitty once they become aware of the fact that they can't go anywhere. They can't do anything else. Those animals that have that type of awareness have less control than we have. You see how things have gone out here with this Kung Flu. You see how things have gone out here with this. You see how fast populations all over the earth folded up. You see how many people are dependent, billions are dependent on this system to keep going. Because the few people that really run everything out here, that own this earth, that own the planet, that pass it on from generation to generation, those people aren't going to give it up. They're not going to give it up. Remember when you just had to go outside and cut your firewood, and if you needed meat, you had to go get your meat. If you needed poultry or vegetables or fish or garden stuff, you had to go do that. Now, I don't either. Do you know why? Because in just a few generations, it's been bred completely out of people. You've been made 100% dependent. There's a very few people out here that can actually live off of the land, that can actually live the way that human beings are meant to live. You see, people, they view things like stores and malls as like a little mini vacation, you know? They view these things in such a light. It doesn't make any sense how they view them, but that's what they were intended to do. They were intended to view these things in such a light. Say, what do you mean, man? What do you mean? You go out every day to be an employee, right? You go out every day, you spend your gas money, you spend your labor money on gas to get to an employee, to an employer, to be an employee. You spend your gas to go to a food bank, call it Walmart, call it Kmart, call it Kroger, Albertsons, call it Safeway, whatever you want to call it, wherever you live. You have a food bank. You have a wares bank. You are a slave. And you've been made responsible, 100% responsible for caring for yourself as a slave. You gotta buy your own gas, your own transportation, your own food, your own blankets. And it's been turned around over the last few centuries. And now you think you're doing yourself a favor when you're doing this thing. You're not. You're not doing yourself any favors. That's why people die as horribly as they die. All the processed garbage that people go to buy as food, it's not food, it's trash. Even when it looks really good. If you have to put an ingredients list on the back of anything, it's trash. If you have to look at a bottle of Mountain Dew and see 42 sugars, 42 grams, and then right under that, an additional 38 grams. Do you realize how much sugar's in that 20-ounce bottle? It's almost 3/4 of the bottle. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I know I'm just rambling. Sorry. It's just fucked up the way that things are. The sad truth, the sad reality is that many of us that have become aware of what's going on and how we're being mistreated and how we're being mishandled can't do anything about it. Can you go out and get your own house? Could you save up for 10 years and then just kind of ride it out? I suppose you could. I suppose you could. Is that a life? I don't know. It's funny how you think about things like this. You know, the older you get, at least for me, the older that I got, the more I started to think about just how fucked up life is. It's crazy shit. I ain't trying to bring you down, gents. I'm just kind of running off at the mouth here and... Man. I don't even know if I'm going to put this up. This just sounds like a clusterfuck. Maybe I'll put it up. I don't know. Oh, and don't get the wrong idea. I'm not down or depressed or anything like that. I just sometimes get involved pretty deeply in thought about what it would take to get to a point where you could even remotely consider yourself to be free. And then even by the time you've done that, you're still not free. Now, are we as bad off as someone from the Sudan? No. The Middle East? No. And of course, I exclude those with money and wealth because obviously, money and wealth, you're always in a better position. You still have to hold on to it. You still have to fight motherfuckers for it. But I would consider it still overall to be a better position. At least you're not starving, you know? At least you're not like the 26 million motherfuckers out here now that are on a breadline. It's a lot of people, man. 20% of the adult workforce is sitting at home waiting for a stimulus check or a tax break. You know, when they're floating the idea of giving you a tax break, they don't have any money to give you. They're probably borrowing the stimulus money from someone or mortgaging your grandchildren's future. All over nothing. All over nothing. There's so many people out here that are so scared. They're shitting themselves scared. They're so out of it. They believe everything that they're told, everything that they hear, everything that they see. Who made these dispensaries of information? Gods. Who gives the information brokers the information? The people that run you, that own you, that control you. That's who gives them the information. There are no more investigative journalists. They can call themselves that, but they're paid assets. That dumbass mask that they're making people wear doesn't. That dumbass mask that they're making people wear doesn't work. It doesn't work, folks. Matter of fact, it can harm your health. You got breathing problems, you got asthma, you got anything like that, guess what? It makes your breathing condition or your asthma worse because you're sucking back in a bunch of spent oxygen. You all need to start to wake up. You need to start to think about what's going on in your life and think about things outside of your front door. It's tough once you spend your life living in deceit to wake up and then all of a sudden start to try to be effective. That's a tough part of being red-pilled. Very tough. Very, very tough. I know a lot of people out here now, man, that their head's in the fucking sand. And they stuck their head back in the sand after they became aware. They just want to be fed. They just want somebody to tell them what to do that has some authority, irrespective of where that authority comes from or how valid it is. I'm legit, folks. You all have yourselves a good evening. And try to remember that the people that you are listening to on radio, the bought and paid for entertainment assets in the music and the film industry and the television industry, these people are losing their way of life. And things like Kung Flu, things like a massive war, things like massive financial intrusion into your life, of which you just witnessed the largest wealth theft in the history of history. Nobody says nothing. Where's my $1,000 stimulus? Y'all be good.